spooky stuff.
So
get into it.
You wanted for your bachelor party to be in the wilderness.
I wanted
in a
to go
cabin.
camping. Yeah, specifically camping.
I would not go camping, and I knew other people.
Nobody wants
in
to
the
stay
wedding.
in a tent.
Nobody wants to tent. Nobody wants, to be in harsh conditions. Me and Aunt found a very nice cabin.
Right.
I thought so.
And
it was nice.
And we book it.
It was a nice cabin.
And it was 3 cabins on acres
A
of
large
land.
piece of property in the wilderness, in the mountains.
Yes.
South Carolina.
And it had a lot of buildings that you could use. So it
3 buildings.
accommodated a large party.
Yes, which is what
Fit
Steve
like
had.
30
Yes.
people. And we had 10, I think. And
Yeah.
we were expecting 20. It got cut down to 10 or something.
Yeah.
Well, once everyone found out they were going camping, they dropped
A
like
lot
flies.
of people dropped, which
Yes.
was nice because it was the people that was important. And when you booked it, I did my own research.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, they got some cool stories. I got to give it to these guys. They got some balls. And neither of you
I
did
didn't know.
research, did you?
Yeah.
Well, we looked it up. It was a
all
nice,
we cared about was could it fit?
Yeah.
could it
wanted
fit
it.
people
Yeah.
and did it look nice? And it
Yeah.
did.
Yes.
So
You gotta when you look at Google, here's a hint to the fans. You gotta go out to at least the second or third link to see what's up with the place.
Yeah.
Because you want to tell them what was up.
well, it came out on verbal. So we get in the car on the drive there. It's us and your brother.
Yeah.
And
I said it.
And you go, this place is haunted, right? Now, I've already had ghost incidents
You didn't know.
before. I didn't know.
I think I said
My mother, when I told my mother what we were doing, she was like, let me look at the place. And
No,
she went and found it. And she goes, this is the most haunted place in like
on
America.
the East Coast, possibly in America. And
if I knew that, I would not have booked
so
it.
I remember exactly what I said. I'm like, I gotta say, like, I'm impressed that you booked this because it's you. And you go, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, it's haunted. And you're like, what do you mean it's haunted?
And anyone who's been a long time listener of this program knows that Brian has the shine.
Brian
Yes.
has some bad stuff
Yes.
happen to him all the time.
It
got it the worst this time.
You think so? I don't know. So this is the Shamrock
pretty bad.
House.
Shamrock House.
You'll
Down in
probably seen
South
pictures of
Carolina.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful house.
It's gorgeous.
Very
Gorgeous
creepy.
land. Old. The banisters are made from polished wood that they probably found outside.
Right.
It looks like a hunting lodge.
Let's
Lodge.
give the background as to why it's haunted, the story that happened.
Sure.
So in like 1910, somewhere around
I
there.
think it's the 20s.
It might be the 20s.
I think it was a prohibition.
10s to 20s.
It's early 1900s. There's a stag party, like a bachelor party.
Yep.
And these gentlemen hire strippers. And one of the strippers comes.
What's her name?
Her name is Nancy.
Nancy.
And she is a local preacher's daughter. And he finds out that his daughter is there stripping. And he shows up. And Papa's none too happy.
Nope.
She runs up to a bedroom, takes a bunch of pills, and dies.
She kills herself in the room.
Since that time, it has been reported that there are spooky happenings in this house.
Right. LBJ was there.
Was he?
Yeah.
There's nothing more scary than the devil himself.
I know.
Well, that's why it probably
Satan
elevated
himself
it,
stayed
yeah.
at the house.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
And there's a room
There's a room
called
Well,
the Nancy
hold on.
room.
So we're all picking our bedrooms, right?
Yeah.
In like the main cabin. And we walk upstairs and there's...
Brian immediately runs.
He takes the biggest bedroom.
No, Steve walks in and goes, "Oh, this room is freezing. I don't want to stay here." I'm like, "Oh, I love the cold. I'll take the cold room."
Yeah.
And I walk in, and there's a plaque that says Nancy's room on the door.
on the door.
With
There's
the
a picture of her, and the room is like
Freezing.
15 degrees colder
than the
No
rest of the house.
AC. It doesn't have
Yeah.
AC.
than the rest of the house. And it's like, this is fucking weird.
Brian runs
I
down.
go,
I'm not staying.
Nope, I'll
I'm not
sleep on a
staying.
couch. I won't do it.
I go, I'll take the room. I go, later on, I had a few drinks. I'm like, I got you, Brian. I'll stay there.
Yeah.
So,
Bad move, turns out.
regular bachelor party stuff happens, nothing crazy. The first night, I lay on the couch. Steve goes up to bed.
Yep. I throw my hoodie near my bag, which is in the corner.
Were
of
you
the room.
creeped out just being in the house that night?
I wasn't when everyone was there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I was creeped out going to bed.
Yeah, like at like whatever 3 a.m. or whatever. Everybody went back to their respective
Yeah.
places, and it's like it's bedtime.
Well, yeah.
and
put
if I
everyone
would have
to
went
bed.
into your bed and I was like, I'm cold, I'm scared, can I sleep in here? Would you have let me? If I was sincerely
Sincere.
like I'm really, really scared, man.
Please protect me.
No,
You would have let me stay in your room.
No.
Wow, what a
absolutely not.
bad friend.
no, I would have told you get the fuck out. I would have said go to the other fucking building.
Yeah, there's like
there would be
multiple
no
places.
reason for you to be in my bed. That's absurd.
What if I'll stay on the floor? I just can't be alone. I'm too
On the floor?
Yeah, I'm like that terrified.
I would have let you stay on the floor.
Okay.
Yeah, but I would have been like, "What the fuck is wrong with you, you child?"
He knocks on your door holding a teddy bear. I'm scared.
So that night I go to bed and I don't have a blanket or anything.
Right.
And I'm just.
It was August, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hot out. It's like 85, 90 degrees.
So I'm just laying on a couch, and your brother is in the living room with me. He has his
the
own
two
couch.
of you are on couches.
Yes.
separate couches.
Yeah.
I wake up, and I have a hoodie laid across me like a blanket.
Yes.
And you did not put it there.
I did not
my
put it
hoodie.
there. I go, this is weird. But I'm like, maybe like I was cold in the night. One of my friends happened to like see
None of
me.
your friends were going to put Beaver's hoodie on you.
But
Never, never.
what
Right.
explanation could you have?
I don't know.
Right?
I was on the opposite couch in a corner that
Well, I wasn't paying
like,
attention to where
nobody would have.
You got tucked in.
I wasn't paying attention to where your hoodie was. So
Yeah.
I'm like, someone must have like put it on me. You know, maybe I was cold and they felt bad or something. I don't know.
Probably in your head. It was like, yeah, it's probably me.
I didn't know. So I don't say anything about it. I'm like, okay, that's weird.
Mhm.
And then you come down.
Well,
Well,
was
before
outside.
then,
I was outside. long
Let's
before
talk
anyway.
about Ant's morning experience.
Okay. So I didn't really sleep much that night because I was all creeped out. And at the same time, I don't sleep all that much to begin with.
Yeah.
So I spent most of the night just kind of staring at the ceiling, but I did get a couple of winks in. But around, I don't know, 6:30, 7 a.m., I was like, I can't lay here anymore. So I got up, and I looked out the window, and I saw Beaver pacing back and forth outside by the campfire.
Working on the fire. And
So I was like, oh, all right, he's up. I'm going to go hang out with him.
You just start screaming, it's paranormal activity. It's got him.
So I was in the hall. I was in the upstairs bedroom across the hall from the Nancy room. So I had my own room that was not the Nancy room. And I walk out.
By the way, the Nancy room is only for Nancy's. That's why Steve
that's
stayed
why I
there.
stayed. Yeah.
So I walked out, and and from where there's like a balcony, and you could look down into the living room, and I could see the couches that Brian and my brother were sleeping on.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked down, and I saw that nobody was sleeping on the couches anymore. So
It's empty.
So I guess they're up, right? So I go downstairs to put my shoes on, and my brother is asleep on the couch. And literally a second ago, when I was upstairs, he wasn't there. It was very fucking bizarre.
So was
But I
Brian.
was like, I guess I just didn't see him. Maybe he was camouflaged or something.
Yeah.
I didn't put too much thought into it, but it was just really strange that from where I was standing upstairs, he was not there. He was invisible.
Yeah.
And then I get downstairs and he was there. He was dead asleep. So I put my shoes on and I went out and started hanging out with Beaver. And that was it for that morning. But then there was something else came.
Yeah.
My morning was interesting.
So yeah. So then we're all just hanging out, and you people are busting your balls. Did the ghost get you and stuff?
Yeah.
And now you talk about what happened.
And so I'll say this: when we were at the campfire, so you guys come out. I don't say anything to Ant. I don't say anything. I'm kind of just like a little quiet, I guess. Like I'm tending to the fire, and I'm like, yeah, we got to cook breakfast and blah blah. And I go, hey guys, something happened last night.
Something goes.
Yeah.
Something weird happened. I was like, did any of you tuck me in? Like I feel like somebody tucked me in last night, right? Like, you're fucking with me? And Brian's face turns white, looks at me and goes, you didn't tuck me in? And I go, what the fuck are you talking about? And then we'd start talking about the morning, my morning. So after everybody goes to bed, it's my party. I feel it's my obligation to entertain everyone for as long as humanly possible. My friend goes, you got to see the other house. Come see. We walk to the house. I'm like, there's bunk beds. I'm like, this is awesome. It's called the bunk house.
Right.
I'm like, this is pretty cool. He goes, all right, I'm going to go to bed. He goes to brush his teeth. I leave the bunk house. The door closes. I go into the main house. Everyone's asleep. I see you on the couch. I see your brother on the couch.
I am not tucked in.
I see my hoodie on the couch. I do not touch my hoodie. I go, that'll stay there. I'll get it in the morning. I'm like, I got to go up to the Nancy room. Here we go. I think you're asleep at this point. Or
Yeah,
you're in your
I
bed.
went to bed
You're in your
first,
bed.
yeah.
It's 3:30, 3:45 in the morning. I'd say 3:45. I'm like, all right, I got to go to bed. I put my stuff in. I put on a change of pants. I lay in the bed. I lay on top of the bed like you would because it was really hot.
hot,
Even though
yeah.
it was colder in that room, which it was hot.
It's August
Before I go to bed,
in the South.
I look around the room because I'm like, all right, if it's haunted, there might be stuff that fucks like that's purposely to fuck with me. Maybe a small speaker, maybe a small something to fuck with me.
Like they wired the
They
house.
wired something. There
You
was
really
nothing.
thought that?
Oh,
Somebody-
100%.
Yeah.
There was nothing. I'm a tech person. That's how I think. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm gonna go to bed. I lay on top of the bed. Now, how the bed is set up, it's a pillow, blanket on top of it, smaller blanket on the bottom, tucked in underneath the bed.
Right.
I sleep on top of the bed. My feet are out because it's really hot. My socks are on.
My friend one time, he was in a hotel in
Fuck.
LA and he paid the chambermaid to do a tuck and she didn't do it.
You want it tight.
You want it tight.
Yeah.
What do you tip a chambermaid?
I don't know. I would give Nancy a tip. She was very nice to me.
All right, so what
She was
happened?
very nice to me.
Now I got that out of the way.
So 3:45, I go to bed.
He got the old Dan Aykroyd.
And by go to bed, specifically light on, I'm like, I'm going to sleep.
You slept with the light on?
Yeah, I ain't shut the light off. Because I'm like, it's night one. Let's see what's up.
Yeah. You do fall asleep though.
I fell asleep
Yeah.
at 4:45, 5 o'clock in the morning, about an hour and a half later, I hear and somebody leave my room. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I look outside the door and I'm like, oh, that must be Aunt going to the bathroom. I
And
looked
just
down.
ran in. Ooh, Beaver has a nice cock. And then he ran out.
I look down and my feet are underneath the small blanket and the blanket is still tucked in tight underneath the bed. I did not put my feet in there.
You got tucked in.
I do not kick when I sleep. I am a peaceful sleeper. And I go, this is our friend fucking with me or something. Somebody just like
it's
pulled
such
a
a
prank.
weird thing.
Somebody pulled a prank just to like be like, haha, you're in the haunted house,
yeah,
right?
that's not a prank thing.
So I stand up
Like I
and
tuck
I'm like,
you in.
I felt uneasy and I'm like, you know what? I gotta see. Maybe it's Ant. I get up, I walk out, everyone's dead asleep. I hear no doors moving. I hear no movement downstairs. There's no AC on, and Ant is in his bed sleeping. I hear him slightly going,
Right.
and I'm like, I'm out. I grab my bag, I go downstairs, and I start the fire, and I'm just like, okay, this happened. When everyone gets up, I'm gonna ask them at some point who fucked with me.
Right.
Because if I don't get an answer, that's messed up. And everyone starts trickling down in the morning. You trickle down, Ant trickles down first. I make him some coffee, you trickle down.
Yeah.
And then I bring it up. Who tucked me in? The thing is, everybody came from the exact spot that I left them.
Yeah.
I have no answer.
So you guys both got
I
tucked
have no answer.
We both had similar experiences, and I didn't even bring it up and say mine until
I
you did.
And you're like, wait a minute.
What the fuck?
in. Yeah.
So
And she tucked us in because
honestly,
we're good boys.
We're good people, right? He
Everybody-
didn't get tucked in.
Yeah.
If anything, he got transported to another dimension, not once, but twice.
I went to, I brought a sleeping bag with me because I didn't want to use the covers of the place.
Yeah.
And I had that on top of me. So I was already warm. I was
Okay.
just being taken care of.
Yeah.
I was terrified that at some point the sleeping bag would be ripped off of me.
Yeah.
No, she was very sweet.
Yes.
If we're gonna
It was a
get,
nice
let's be
ghost.
honest, if we're gonna get haunted, we got like Casper.
You
know?
guys.
Well,
did.
we got Casper.
Yeah.
So then later that day,
Everybody went hiking but me.
yeah.
Yes,
I'm
all
too
that.
fat to go hiking.
Can't go hiking.
Yeah.
We get it.
So I stayed behind and I was like, oh, I'll chill in the house
You're in the property all by yourself.
By yourself.
all by myself.
Right.
And, there's really nothing to do. I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have a bowl of cereal. I'm going to watch Back to the Future on the TV.
A great morning.
Make some cereal,
Yeah.
sit down. I put the TV on. From upstairs, boom, boom, boom. Okay.
It's loud.
Try to ignore it. I'm eating. Boom, boom, boom.
Like, what did it sound like? Someone was banging
Someone
on
knocking. Yeah.
Like stomping or knocking.
Wow.
A loud noise from upstairs. I'm the only one
That's
there.
terrifying.
I go,
Most people be like, oh, it's the AC unit. No AC
There's
unit.
no AC.
There's no AC
it
unit.
wouldn't be that loud.
Yeah.
All right.
It
And
was
on top
a
of that,
clear,
The
like,
AC unit is like the line one that's installed that like has an exhaust outside.
All right.
Like
Yeah.
it doesn't have the big unit. So
Like it, I
was
feel.
trying to get your
I feel like it
Yep.
really wanted me to communicate, so
Yeah.
I ignore it. I'm like, okay,
should have knocked back.
for that
She was
fuck
flirting
that.
with you.
Is it cheating if I have a ghost affair on my wife?
Yeah, if you passed out and like you had
Only
like
if you do it knowingly. Like if you get ghost raped, you're all right.
Well, that's
yeah.
But if like the ghost appears as an apparition, and I'm like, ooh,
What if it-
is that like an affair?
I think so.
I think so.
I
yeah.
think so too. I
What
think
if it
that's
like rapes you in your dream? If it
I
rapes
think-
you in your dream,
well,
is that
no? I
You
mean,
rape me in your dream, you better wake up and apologize.
so? You hear the banging and
I
you're
go,
out.
fuck
You're
this.
out.
I can't stay in this
You're
house.
out. Yep.
So I go and I sit by the fire pit for, hours. And
Yeah,
like
you were gone a long
Yeah, we were
time.
gone.
I fall asleep in the chair, and there's
Outside.
There's times where I have to go back into the house, like if I need a drink
Uh-huh.
or if I have to use the bathroom. Or like I would be like, maybe it's done now.
Yeah.
Boom, boom.
Every
boom.
time you went
Every time.
inside.
Every
Straight
time.
upstairs, man.
And then I wouldn't hear it. And then around the property, there was like kind of like a swing, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I got bored because like I'm fucking all alone for like 4 hours.
Decide to sit on the bench.
He goes
Give
to the
yourself a
most
nice swing.
haunted looking swing on earth.
Yeah, it was a creepy swing.
It's just a wooden, it's bark.
So
bark and
I'm
old rope.
sitting on it, and like I start to hear like noises from like the room that would be above me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck this. I just have to sit by this fire pit, and I'm just like kind of staring into the woods for 4 hours as I wait for you guys.
So then we got home, and I had my second thing happen.
I had one
Well,
too.
you
I
had one.
before you. So we get home. It was a long hike. We all shower up.
Yeah.
I sit in the living room. Your brother showered before me. He's sitting there reading a book. It's me and him. Everyone else is outside.
Mhm.
And we hear footsteps upstairs. Light footsteps. And I'm like, huh. And I think logically, I'm like, oh, it's the AC unit kicking on. And no AC unit goes on. And then I hear footsteps again. So I turn to your brother and I'm like, hey, do you hear that? And he's reading a book,
Mhm.
drops the book to his chest and looks up to listen. He hears footsteps. He goes, I'm not acknowledging this right now. And just goes back to reading. And I'm like, okay, this is,
Yeah.
I'm never going back up there again. I'm not. And I
So-
didn't.
Yeah, you slept.
I actually took out my sleeping bag and laid on the floor. And
In the living
Aunt was
room.
yelling at me.
Yeah.
You gotta go to bed upstairs. I'm like, I'm not doing it. He goes, you gotta go up there. I'm fucking terrified.
And then our friend.
So right around that same time, I went and took a shower, and I was staying in the room opposite the Nancy room, right?
Yeah.
So I'm getting changed in my bedroom, but I had like the door open, and I see out of the corner of my eye someone walk into the Nancy room and turn the light on.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? So I walk out in the hallway, and I hear Brian yell from downstairs. Remember, you could see the
Yeah,
living room
yeah.
from like the living room.
It's a balcony.
Yeah, it's a balcony.
Yeah.
So you could see me, right? So I walk out of the room, I'm in my underwear. And I hear Brian downstairs yell, nice gams. And I hear him, he's downstairs. I don't even look at him.
Do you
I
even
just-
say gams?
Yeah, I did.
he was doing, he said nice gams. He was
Yeah.
making fun of my legs.
Yeah.
So I go into the Nancy room and nobody's in there, but the light was on. And then I walk out of the room and Brian is literally 2 feet away from me.
You heard him downstairs.
I would have bet you $1 trillion he was downstairs, but he was literally 2 feet away from me. He was upstairs. It was insane. Like it was
And
like for whatever reason, this house was fucking with time and space for me.
For you, yeah.
It was like my perception was all fucked up. Like I couldn't see my brother in the morning, and then later that day, Brian warped.
So the other thing is like I'm watching you do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like so I'm like, hey,
Did he
nice
look
game.
possessed?
He just looked like it was
Confused.
weird.
Yeah.
Like he's like investigating, and he walks into the room and he looks around, and then he walks out and he looks at us like almost surprised.
Yeah.
Like what?
You know how you can tell when someone's in a room with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was no sense of that whatsoever. Like you can always tell someone is nearby. You feel their
Yeah.
energy. I don't know how to explain that, but I felt nothing. It was like he was masked. And it wasn't just him. You were with
I
two
was
other
with-
guys.
Yeah, 2 other
There
people.
were 3 people
having a whole conversation.
literally
Yeah.
less than 5 feet away from me, and I just had no concept that they were anywhere near me.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't hear them come up the stairs. It was just very fucking strange.
Yeah. And then I was sitting by the campfire later that night. I'm sitting with our friend. He's a listener. Hi. I'm not going to say his name, but we're sitting there and he's staying in the bunkhouse. So how this works is the campfire's in between both. So you could look behind us is the main house where all the Nancy room is. And there's a bunkhouse in front of us. We're drinking, laughing, you know, having a good time.
He's laughing.
Well, he's laughing. All of a sudden, the outside light from the bunkhouse goes on. And we're like, oh, someone's coming out of the bunkhouse. And then the light inside turns on. We're like, what? Like I'm like, did you see that? He's like, yeah, I'll go check it out. I think somebody just went to the house. He runs to the bunkhouse, goes upstairs, opens the door. I see him. He goes inside, sprints back out. He goes, nobody's in there. I go, what? He's like, nobody's in there. Not only is nobody in there, the door was locked. So I don't know how the light turned on. I don't know how the outside light turned on. He goes, but I'm not going back in there. I'm sleeping in my car.
Yeah.
And I was just like, all right. He turns out he slept in the Nancy room that night. He got drunk and fell asleep in the Nancy room, woke up tucked in.
Yeah, I refused to go to sleep unless somebody else went up there.
Yeah.
Same thing happened to him. He woke up with his legs tucked under the blanket and he passed out drunk on top of the bed.
Needless to say, Shamrock House, kind of scary.
We had a good time.
It was fun, but talking about that shit after is
cautionary
scary.
tale: if you're gonna book a house,
or if you want,
check if it's the most haunted place in America.
I did that full video walkthrough. We can put that up.
Oh, you
You did.
Yeah, I recorded it.